Wengapo. I'm Christian Stovall, the American heiress. On this platform, we like to get down to the nitty-gritty and take a detailed look at the hidden symbolism that is put into the movies and TV shows that we all know and love. With every episode, the truth will be revealed about our reality that has been highly coded and hijacked. Take a trip with us as we break down and explain the deception that many of our people miss. You are now tuned into the Diva Decode.
Wengapo everyone, and welcome to this week's case of the Diva Decode. I'm Christian Stovall, the American heiress, and what I do is I uncover the hidden symbolism and meanings that are put into the movies and television shows that we all know and love. Now, when I became a mom, I started to watch the TV shows and movies that are made for our youth. And when I tell you guys that I was blown away by what is actually being told through these movies. Now, this is part 2 of the Miseducation of the American people. In part 1, we establish who the original Americans are. If you guys don't know, the original Americans are the people that they call colored, Negro, African American, Black folks. We are the indigenous people of America. I mean, even if you look at the definition of American in the 1828 version of Webster's Dictionary, meaning in 1828, the word American meant a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, okay? Now listen, they don't want us to know that America has Aboriginal people. You guys know if we look at the Aboriginals in Australia, they're talking about Negroes, Black folks, okay? We are the copper-colored people, okay? There's only one colored folks. They just dropped the copper and we just colored, right? So we're actually the original Americans. If you look at the emblem of America, which was created in 1798, the British Museum makes it very clear because if you scroll down, it says this is an ethnic representation of American people. I know y'all hear me. Now listen, in the part 1, okay, we went over the movie Zombies. Now Zombies is all about Black folks. The zombies represent Black folks. Watch part 1 to get the breakdown on why. But that's really what we're doing. We're looking at who these people represent, and then the story all of a sudden becomes clear. Okay. But what we're focusing on in these miseducations of the American people, this series, is the moment that changed history forever, which is the moment that the colonists got a chance to educate us. Now, prior to that, it was a situation of, us holding our ground, fighting for our land, and once we were put into their schools, they were able to teach us how they want us to operate, and also our history. Now, this is what we're about to get into, okay? Because they start to break down. They love to highlight this moment, which is really integration. And integration, like I've said before, the start of integration is always the integration of the original people, the Aboriginals, into white schools, okay? And that is huge. And like I said, they love to talk about it. Now, part 2, we're going to be examining the movie Descendants, okay? Exhibit A. Now, in the movie Descendants, there are 2 sides of the fence, just like in Zombies. There's the zombies and the humans. The zombies are the Black folks, the humans are the white folks. In Descendants, there's the people of Aradon, the so-called white folks, and the VKs, or the villains' kids. Like I said, they always love to make, the Negroes the villains. Okay, and that's what makes it so crazy, because we're watching it and we're rooting for we're rooting for the heroes, and we don't even know that we're rooting against ourselves. Okay, that's another story. But the villain's kids on the Isle of the Lost are the Negroes. Now, how do we know that, right? Well, literally in the intro, Mal, who is the daughter of Maleficent, she mentions that this is her hood.
Beast united all of the kingdoms and got himself elected King of the United States of Oregon. He rounded up all the villains and sidekicks, basically all the really interesting people, and he booted them off to the Isle of the Lost with a magical barrier to keep them there. This is my hood. No magic, no Wi-Fi, no way out.
Okay, where we were booted off, and we were cut off from our magic. We were cut off from resources, no hope, no way out. Okay, we're always going to be on the Isle of the Lost. And then we get to see Prince Ben, who is the Beast and Belle's son, right? This is like the future of all the fairy tales that we grew up on. And he says that we should give the white side of society, Aradon, should give the children of the Isle of the Lost a chance to come to school over there. Integration, okay? And he invites them over, and what's so crazy about it is he's talking to his parents, and he says, they're like, well, which villain's kids are you trying to invite over?
Cruella de Vil, Jafar, Evil Queen, and Maleficent.
Maleficent! She is the worst villain in the land.
When they hear about Maleficent, they're like, she's the worst of them all, right? And we start to look in, who is Maleficent? Now, Maleficent, you guys ever seen that movie? She's played by Angelina Jolie. And Maleficent is the protector of the Moors. Now, they don't think we know, but Moors is another one of these words that they called us. Remember, I was talking about Negro, African-American, Black, colored, Indian, you know what I mean? These are all words that they gave to us, like labels, okay? But Moor is another one. They didn't necessarily always historically call us Moors here in America, but all over the world, the original people were Negroes. I mean, we have to wake up and realize that we've been colonized by invaders all over with pale skin. But originally, the people of this earth were melanated, beautiful, thick lips, and kinky-haired people, okay? But she says that they're the protector of the Moors, and when you look at the intro scene of Maleficent, they start to tell of a story to see how well you know it.
Let us tell an old story anew, and we will see how well you know it. Once upon a time, there were two kingdoms that were the worst of neighbors. So vast was the discord between them that it was said only a great hero or a terrible villain might bring them together. In one kingdom lived folk like you and me, with a vain and greedy king to rule over them. They were forever discontent and envious of the wealth and beauty of their neighbors. For in the other kingdom, the Moors, lived every manner of strange and wonderful creature. And they needed neither king nor queen, but trusted in one another.
Okay, and they talk about there's these two kingdoms, and one had a vain and greedy king. Now, mind you, we are not of that kingdom, but because we have been colonized by them, we've taken on their issues and stuff like that, and gotten into their society, their debt system. Now we're under a vain and greedy king too. But originally we are of the other kingdom, because they say in the other kingdom there was the Moors, right? Who needed neither king nor queen because we trusted each other.
In one kingdom lived folk like you and me, with a vain and greedy king to rule over them. They were forever discontent and envious of the wealth and beauty of their neighbors. For in the other kingdom, the Moors, lived every manner of strange and wonderful creature. And they needed neither king nor queen, but trusted in one another.
So that is our natural way. So they always like to tell us, like, there's one side of the thing and there's the other. That's colonization, okay, in a nutshell. There was a white side and the colored side, okay? And they always put us in the worst situations. In the movie Descendants, the VKs, the villains' kids, who represent so-called black folk, they have to live on the Isle of the Lost, where there's no magic, there's no hope, there's no way to get out.
Isle of the Lost, with a magical barrier to keep them there. This is my hood.
In the movie Zombies, all the zombies live in Zombie Town, and they can't leave. They have to wear their coveralls. They have their curfew. While the humans, and both Descendants and zombies, they live in abundance. They live in the nice part of town, right? It's the same story over and over again. That's how you know it's about us. And that's what Descendants is about. So he's inviting them over, and what we get to see is the VKs go. Now, more evidence that the VKs are so-called black people. The girls wear brightly colored hair. Now, I know that, now everybody and their mama want to have blue and pink and bright colored hair, but originally that was something that just sisters did, okay? But because we make everything cool, all different types of races of women and men around the world want to wear brightly rainbow colored hair as well, okay? But that's one indication that the VKs are Negroes, okay? Two, that brings me right on to number 2, is that we're trendsetters. We are the coolest people on the planet, and everybody loves to copy us. And the VKs are the same way, because when they get to Auradon, they set off a wave of hairstyles and trends and ways to dress.
Now I'm cool.
Because we're cool.
Anyways,
okay?
I love what you've done with Jane's hair, and I know you hate us, and well, you're evil. But do you think you can do mine? I want it cool. Like Mal's.
Replace the old with cool hair.
Okay, so just like, in real life, how we started the colored hair, now everybody else does, because we're trendsetters, the VKs are the same way. And that's another indication. Trendsetters, brightly colored hair, they live in the hood. There's no resources. There's a lot that make them a representation of Negro people. And as we go through this series, I'm going to get into that deeper, because there's Descendants 1, 2, and 3. And basically, there's like messages about, how we need to go about reclaiming our status here and things like that. So we're going to get into it very deep. Today, I just want to focus on what they are teaching us now that they've gotten us into the school. Okay? Because Descendants makes it very clear. So when they get there, it's like a big parade and party that they've invited these 4 Negroes over to the white side of society to be integrated. And they're meeting Ben, and he's like,
This is a momentous occasion, and one that I hope will go down in history. The chocolate? As the day our two peoples began to heal.
Ben, and he's like, this is a momentous occasion, the day that we're able to put this all behind us, right? Why? Why is the beef over when we get integrated? It's because they can teach us that we're from someplace else, and we're not going to want to fight for our land and our rights to live in the nice places anymore, which were originally ours, okay? So he's talking about it's a momentous occasion. There's, a part where Fairy Godmother. Now, there's a couple of scenes I want us to go over. Fairy Godmother has this wand, and they're, looking to get this wand because if they can get their magic back, they could set free everybody in the Isle of Lost. That's the original mission, okay? And we can't forget that. That was originally our mission too. The entire reason why we sent our people to schools was so that we can learn to, how to get out of this system that we've been put under, okay? We just forgot. Fairy Godmother mentions a couple of things. She talks about the, how, the doors to wisdom is always open, except, that the library closes at a certain time. Okay.
The doors of wisdom are never shut. But the library hours are from 8 to 11, and as you may have heard, I have a little thing about curfews.
Okay. Because of the curfew. Now, our people historically were put under curfews during like Jim Crow laws, and it was a way to control us so that we wouldn't be able to be up at night, using our free time together to plan or do whatever we needed to do to become free and things like that. So they talk about that in this movie. They talk about that in the Zombies movie as well, about the curfews, how we're under curfew.
Zombies have to wear government-issued coveralls. But we make them look pretty cool.
I want it cool. Like Mal's.
Pretty cool. And we have a curfew.
He can't be out here at night. It's a sundown town.
That is a huge, like, it's like a dead giveaway of who the VKs are, who the zombies are, and whatnot. When they mention curfew, they're talking about the Negroes.
The doors of wisdom are never shut. But the library hours are from 8 to 11, and as you may have heard, I have a little thing about curfews.
Now, she talks about that. Then she also mentions that,
That was a long time ago. And as I always say, don't focus on the past, or you'll miss the future.
That, oh, that stuff is in the past. She says, forget about your past, so you won't miss the future, right? This magic, right? They want us to not think about our history, only think about what's in the future, right? But it's like there's a lot of things that need to be corrected from the past. So that's one thing. Now, in another scene, Jane, who is Fairy Godmother's daughter, mentions that she says the magic is in the books. She says not the spell book. She's talking about the history books.
She doesn't use the wand anymore. She believes the real magic is in the books and not the spell books, regular books with history and stuff.
So listen to that. Her daughter says that her mom always says that the magic is really in the history books. And then we have the mom saying, forget about the past. So you don't mess up your future. You can hear it right here.
That was a long time ago. And as I always say, don't focus on the past, or you'll miss the future.
And so that's huge. Why is it so important? What is the importance of being able to teach a people their history? Okay, well, you could teach them anything. Like I said, this is actually our land, but they have taught us for the past 3 to 4 generations that we're actually from Africa and that they brought us over here as slaves, but that's not the truth. We're actually the landowners, okay? In fact, if we look at the Oxford English Dictionary, their definition for the N-word is that, if you scroll down to the entry 3A, it says a nigger is a dark-skinned person of any origin, but in early U.S. history was used usually in reference to American Indians, okay? So now you know that the original definition of American is the copper color races. You guys have seen the emblem of America. We've went over the definition of nigger. So when you're talking about niggas in the past, they're definitely talking about the American Indians, okay? So that's all of that. What else did they teach us, right? Even Carlos is caught singing one time about the past, forgive, forget.
The past is past, forgive, forget. The truth is, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right? They're always wanting us to forgive and forget what has happened. But it's very important for us to wake up and see what is being taught to us, and how we're going to come together to stop it. You know what I mean? So that we can have a chance at real freedom, so that we can spend our time with one another, so that we're not stressed over bills and things like that. That those sort of things can be taken care of. But yes, that's it. That is the Miseducation of the American people. Let me check. There's great power in teaching someone their history. You could do anything with a history, including reconstruct it, okay? And that's what they did during Reconstruction. And I think that's it, y'all. I love you guys so much. I'm going to be coming back there because there's actually quite a few things that is in this movie Descendants that make them Negroes that I didn't mention today that will be coming in futures. If you guys have watched the movie and you want to mention anything, please comment below. Let me know if you guys have seen the movie. Guys, please like, share. The more that we like this video, the more that other people are going to be able to see it, the more that our minds are going to be open, the more that we can come together and figure out a way to tell our ancestors' stories once more and make things right, okay? So I love you guys all so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's case of the DVD code. Thank you all for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share this with family and friends, and subscribe for part 3 of the Miseducation of the American people. I love each and every one of you guys so much. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, bye. Also, don't forget to mark your calendars for December 31st, 2021, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Coalition of Indigenous Americans is presenting our inaugural end-of-the-year recognition award show for Indigenous media influencers. You are not going to want to miss this one. See you there. Hey, before you go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out the Original American collection at theamericanheiress.com. The original American design is comprised of the emblem of America and the definition of American from the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, which states that the original Americans were Aboriginals or copper color. We offer this design on shirts, sweaters, hoodies, and totes, as well as home and bathroom essentials. We also have a wonderful collection of clothing for our little ones. Get yours today and rep your nationality with pride at theamericanheiress.com.